that's not helpful at all. Okay. Let's just faff about with our sound settings and make the microphone do its thing. Device properties, volume, max that out. Start test. Hello, 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 hello. Stop test. Yeah, that's because you're a jerk. Additional device properties. Listen, levels, max. Okay. Right. That's peeking in the yellow. That's good. Turn that up a little bit. Hi. How are we doing? I'm doing pretty well. It's muggy here. I think it wants to rain. And I don't want it to rain. So I shall see what I can do. I need to open another couple of windows here. And very briefly give you a glimpse of what that Twitch one looks like. Look at my channel. Find out where the link to chat is today. There we go. I'm live. I'm muted. That's very important. Okay, Raffle Ventry, Vaid Father. Hello, users. Hopefully users, possibly bots. Who knows? Yeah, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to build some stuff. Let's put me bottom right. Sure. In Roll20. I'm tagging out as DM for my regular Monday night session. And so what I've been doing is considering what I'm going to do. So I have, let's just drag this to the appropriate monitor. I have some musings. Let's make it a bit bigger so we can read it. Battle maps. Excellent. I remembered that I had links to trains, but I didn't actually save them, so that's good. So what I want to do is, this world that we're going to be playing in is kind of a, I can't believe it's not Firefly type thing. So there's going to be interplanetary travel, but Western themes. Still with all the magic, because it's Dungeons and Dragons and magic is fun. But then looking at how we can play in that level. There's also going to be a fair amount of Mando in there. So we've got the client and his crew is going to hire them initially and potentially be leading through. We have a big bad. We have the other people in the game having a little chat in WhatsApp, which I will close because it's distracting me. And we're also going to have a whaling / piracy swashbuckling kind of quest as well, which will be dealing with like huge constructs swimming through the oceans rather than actual living animals. So we've got some notes here, some dot points. So this is kind of what I do when I'm. This is more written down than I normally do. This is in my brain. A lot of the time, I'm a kind of a make it up as I go along. A lot of the time as well. Look, we're going to use Z Bayshaw's modified zombie rules. So there's going to be a zombie outbreak part of the adventure. I don't need to use all of these necessarily, depending on what everyone does. Like we've we had a single DM for ages who was taking us through a bunch of the Acq Inc. content, which was delightful. And then we were like, in the new year, do we want to mix it up a little bit? So one of us, who was a very first time DM and did a real good job of it, just took us through the Rick and Morty adventure, which I heartily recommend. And so now it's a question of putting together mine, because I'm running tomorrow night. So let's see, got some various maps and things to find. We got the cars. We got a JPEG here to a Reddit link, which will open. Oh, this is cool. So I did a bunch of Googling. This is good because these don't have any map squares on them. So I can put them into Roll20, which is the platform we're using. Got a cannon car, we've got all kinds of different options. We've got the engine. I really like this. I found this on a Reddit link. What I should have done is also saved the overall link so that I could credit people if I don't know, was doing it on a live stream. How rude of me. Train, car, D&D map. Okay, so that's the one. Lightning rail cars from Eberron. So it's people who do battle maps. Thank you, go away. It's people who do battle maps. So if you're looking for battle maps, if you do D&D type things and you're looking for battle maps, I heartily recommend doing Patreon things and supporting the makers of same. Yes, I think that'll be good. So now I'm going to do is I'm going to save that. Oh, look at all the things I'm showing you guys. Anywho's will be in maps. Train. Boom, boom. All train. All cars. And what I'll do is I'll chop that up in Paint in order to allow for using the different things. Now this is going to be a heist because you obviously got to kick off of something that's totally not Firefly or a train job. So let's jump into Paint. Open that with Paint. And train. All cars. And then we just view 100%. Okay, so that is 100%. So I might end up even making them a little bit bigger. And then we're just going to play the select and crop game. And then the save as game. Crop. Yep. File, save as, train, full cargo. In cargo, brackets, full. Let me undo that. Try and find that. Oh, no. This might be a bit tricky. Oh, does it matter? Yes, it does. Having a right little chat. Okay. Crop. File. Save as. Full steerage car. Okay, and so on and so forth, and I will keep doing that. So, looking at what I have to choose from, cargo car, steerage car, engine, stable, empty cargo, nice. Is we can look at this here, and over on another, I'll open up the campaign in D&D Beyond, and I have view campaign. So the campaign is called Totally Not Firefly. Gonna have to reset that link that I just included on my thing, foolishly. And we have a variety of some unassigned characters. These are the player characters, and then there'll be another one. let's just reset that invite link. Yes, I want to reset the invite link. And I'll just put that somewhere. Twitch, building your things live, and how to reset the game invite link. Here's the new one. Accidentally put it on screen. So there we go. So what I want to do here, when I'm doing various things, is that can go away. So I've got these characters here. I need to make some player tokens for them, which is going to be a lot of fun. So let's view the character. Let's open them in another tab so I don't have to back and forth like some kind of monster. Yes, beyond 20. I'll send things to beyond 20. Show me that. Okay. Did people include their... Because what I want to do is build the tokens using their character portraits, because then everyone understands who they are, and it's nice and clear. But those character portraits are quite high up in the chat. Oh, there's one. Nope, same link. Joy. Alrighty, we can do this. We have the technology. With the power of print screen, I will... crop, view 100%. I already am. That is not big enough. Not big enough, Mom. That's rude. I should be able to make it at least that big. Yeah. Well, there's my noggin. Let's do that. Let's print and zoom and print again. Just to make it fun. Oh no, there we go. Oh, because what I was doing, foolishly, because I'm foolish, was taking it from the feed over here that has OBS on it, where it's smaller, because it's not the full thing. So file save as Monday D&D, new folder, tokens. Players, I love me some subfolders, I really do. I want to save it as a JPEG. Amberley. Save. Okay. Next. I don't know if we need Jaina. We do need Kaylee, who's a halfling artificer, who is our engineer. Once again, all of this is entirely original IP and in no way cribbed off any other thing, and any similarities to any narratives, living or dead, is purely coincidental. File, save as Kaylee. There was a hyphen there. And OG22. Print screen. Okay. Do the thing with the thing. Completely unrelated. Have I seen the Create Your Own? Mrs. Malaprop, I have seen the Create Your Own Bayer tapestry thing, but I have not used it yet. I've seen the results of it, of other people using it, but I have myself not used it. It does look very cool though. Okay. So, making character tokens. Ben equals Ambly. John equals... And... where are we? Someone's already claimed... red shirts. Hehe. Boaty McBoatface was still working out on the boat name. Just reading through a thing. Fighter. Ben. Yes. Yes. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So what I do now is I pop all of these tabs into the other window so I can look at the stats for them. And I go to another tab here. I have my D&D links, and I go to Token Stamp 2, which is a handy-dandy token builder. I could just use those pictures, but I like borders on my tokens. And so we drag and drop. There we go. What do we want the border color to be? Oh, that's aggressively bright, isn't it? There you go. That goes a bit better. So right click, save as, go away. Right click there, save image as. Oh, that's right. It's doing that automatic download thing. So I need to go into downloads. There we go. Look at that. And then what I do is I will save that into players and it'll say, oh, there's already one of those. Well, no, it won't. Excellent. Good for me. And then I just keep doing that drag and drop thingy. So we got a JPEG and a PNG. So I put Kaylee there. Kaylee looking awesome. It's a good tint for her. That'll work. Save image as. What do you know? Let's open another tab of things. I've end up with so many windows open. Kaylee. My eyes. Okay. And then OG. It's nice. What I like about OG is also the chef on board. So they're going to have a ship that's going to be totally not Firefly, obviously. Let's have a look at all these extra thingies I have open. You go that way. OG 2022. You go there, players. Cool. So I go in here. Those people not familiar with Roll20, Roll20 is pretty darn awesome. This will be my tokens page. So when I build tokens, I will save them there. I need to make sure I'm on the right layer. Objects and tokens, that's the layer I need to be on. Pop here to my players. find the pungs and drag and drop them over there. It's going to take a little while to upload some stuff. My library, I have so many. Oh, look at it, it's so big. There we go. So now, let's just zoom in a bit. Here is OG22. Let's open OG22's character sheet on another tab over here. And thusly, we can adjust things. So OG22 can have a nameplate. Boop. Controlled by OG22. That's handy. Let's go with compact token bars and make them bottom and overlapping a little bit. So I like the red bar to be hit points because that's how I roll. Attribute. Oh, I haven't. We're doing character sheets in D&D Beyond, playing in Roll20. I think some of them have ported stuff over, but yeah. Player permissions. They can see that. They can also see their health bar. And this one here, which players I don't think we'll be able to see. I generally make that the passive perception. And then let's have a shifty. Let's also have a look at any kind of features and traits that we need to take into account. Twin spell, quicken spell, resilience, sentry's rest. Don't appear to have any dark vision, so I won't set that. Save. And there we go. There's OG22. Couple of bars. Actually, let's not have the players see that. Oi, thank you. The AC bar. Let's join as a player to see what that looks like. It should just be the red bar down the bottom. There we go, red bar down the bottom. Rejoin as GM. Cool. That can go over there. That is my thing of many tab. Many tab. So many tab. Gonna do another print screen here. And another one of them. And another one of them. And we're creating another token here. I know they've already got red around them. I think maybe I just want to show it. Never heard that before. Hey, Ian Daffy. Welcome. I haven't knowingly seen you in the chat before, so yes, welcome indeed. That needs to be Jaina. Save. There we go. Boop. And finding the right folder is always fun, as always. And token stamp. Okay. Well, I think if you're a water genasi, you need to have a nice deep blue background. Creaming soda spiders. All right. What's that? Oh. Gosh darn it. I thought I'd updated the information and it pushed through. Apparently it hadn't. Creaming soda spiders in Daffy is... oh, it is too. Gosh darn it. Sorry. Done. Look, it's okay, so it's not updated, and I don't know why it's not updated in Daffy. But creaming soda spiders is what Australians call ice cream sodas. So putting a blob of ice cream in a soft drink, which is my understanding. It's called an ice cream soda in America. And for some reason, when I try to edit my stream information, it gives me all the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, but it does in fact seem to be still telling everyone that I'm doing creaming sodas for science. So I don't understand why that is, and I apologize if there is confusion. Totally not 5line. Boom. Okay. Downloads. Jaina. Players. There we go. Alrighty. Let's do Jaina next, shall we? Why not? Dragging and dropping. Once again, needlessly big by default. Every one of these squares is a 5-foot square in game, obviously. Or maybe not obviously. How do I know? And then if you just have creatures that are bigger, then it would be. Because I am. No. They occupy more space. So again, we find the tab with Jaina Solo's info in it. Put in the hit points. Put in the passive perception. Put in the AC. Let them. Yeah, come on. See that. Compact. Bottom overlap. Does a Ganassi have dark vision? I don't necessarily know. Unending breath. That's pretty cool. But no. We do not currently have. There we go. And again, I can see all three, but the players. It is pretty. I would put some sushi before they roll 20 for me to make sense. Oh, so it's. Has it. Okay. It is deliciousness. And the reason I was doing a video was a couple of my friends were having a friendly argument as to whether you should put the ice cream in first or should put the. No, already done that one. Soft drink in first. And I thought that I think you should put the ice cream in first and pour the soft drink over the top. And other people say you should put the soft drink in first and drop the ice cream in. And it depends on how much fizz you're after. So some friends say it goes a certain way, but they're after more fizz. So we're kind of talking at cross purposes for what constitutes best. But it was also largely just an excuse to make ice cream spiders for the girls and have them for afternoon tea. Amberly gets a nameplate, is controlled by me. And probably someone else once we work out who various player names are when they're not obvious. Passive perception isn't the hugest, but AC is pretty darn amazing. Once again, we have a bottom overlapping compactness and a nameplate, and we'll save some settings. Oh, hang on a second. Let me just. So we've got an Aasimar here. So let's see if the Aasimar has Dark Vision. No. But we can turn on a shimmering thing, gain wings, do the flying. It's a whole thing. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's one more. Kaylee, that's the one. Another Pung, another one that's going to be super big. So there we go. Kaylee, also myself. Kaylee gets a nameplate. Find that tab. We're kicking off. I'm kicking off the players at level 3. Level 3 is a good kind of level to have them at. They've got some toys to play with, but they're not so squishy that one hit is likely to completely destroy them. Though there's a non-zero chance, like who knows. Lightfoot Halfling, I don't think, do they have dark vision? They do not have natural dark vision. Save settings. Brain blocked. No need to be sorry if you have a bit of a brain block. It's understandable. Okay, so now what I need to do is I've put together, going to my characters, a bunch of NPCs, as you do, and I just need to import them into the game, this specific game, which I'm not aware of a super easy thing to do. So what we have here, I've put them in the wrong place. Oh well, that's all right. So we have the client, and when I am being the client, I will, of course, absolutely be doing my best / worst Werner Herzog voice. So that will be fun. And if I go back to my musings document, there's another picture. There we go. So it's going to be again a case of playing the save, role-playing, Monday D&D, tokens, players, NPCs. And then we can call that the client full. And then I will make a smaller version of them. Tokens, NPCs, which I will turn into a token in token stamp. So lots of going backwards and forwards. The advantage for this is that once it's done, now another thing that I generally tend to do is put a hex base on the NPCs. I don't want to say baddies, but they are a baddie. Let's be fair. Let them live their true life. And then what we can do is make this a little bigger. I like that. Save image as, and then that becomes a download. It automatically saves it to downloads as a thing, and I don't necessarily dig on that, but I'm just going to do. And then we turn that into a token. And it's a whole bunch of rinse repeat. So the first mission, yeah, as I said, is going to be a train job. There you go. That's fair. And what I'll do is let people see the bar, but not the number, which is fine. And then I've given them a really good passive perception. Let's just say I did that on purpose. Controlled by me. Nameplate. The client. They're a Vidalcan. I think they have some dark vision. Generally speaking, it probably won't come into it. And I want them to be... Now, the reason why I'm going with compact and I'm going with overlapping, not at all designing games. Yeah, that is absolutely what I'm doing in Daffy. I am using this thing to prepare for a game that I'll be running tomorrow night in Dungeons and Dragons. It is absolutely a safe space, Mrs. Malaprop. And the reason, so you can see why I'm doing the compact bars, because otherwise they take up an awful lot of real estate. So if I change that to that, bottom overlapping, save changes. It's just neater. I like it better. Create a new page. So let's just keep, I will be keeping to do that. So another thing that I want to do, I have an image here. And I want to get a nice big version of this, because this is as big as this one gets. And it starts to get a bit funny. Although, that's not too terrible. This is going to be the layout for the ship. So again, it's very much a Firefly inspired design. Gratuitously taken from a Pinterest. Oh, look at these things that I've got. All these things. Let's just give myself a moment here. Tables. And now I want to view those as large icons. Extra large icons, please. Cool. There we go. So these are a bunch of things that I found as well. The I loot the things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on. I should open this with a editing program for the moment. Downloads. File, open with Paint. Because what I want to do is I want to get rid of this, and you have this cargo door here. They don't have an APC. I don't want them to have that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to completely seamlessly I'm going to use some keys for that. Make it go away. See? Seamless. Ha. And I need to make those words go away too. There we go. And if it was Photoshop, I'd have a go at fudging that a bit more. It's not. And again, what I need to do is take this down here. CV. And then when they ask, what's going on with this funny janky bit here in the map? I can say, well, it's certainly not because the map that I gratuitously stole from someone who's way smarter than me had something that I don't want to give to you. That's for sure. Okay. Munitions, escape pods, that's handy. An exit hatch, operations center, galley, defense, steps, showers. Showers are good. Toilets, also helpful. And then engine access is, just there. So, save as. And I believe the discussion was to call it Shippy McShipface. Let's just go into the... there was a bit of back and forth on what it could be. Tranquility. Look, as much fun as it is to be meta and make jokes with things, yeah, let's just go with that. Okay. Cool. So, close that. Go here. Change the name of this to Tranquility. Go to this one. And now I'm about to be making what is a map, not tokens. So I want to be on the map and background layer. And boop. Monday D&D maps. Tranquility. Let's see how that goes. Because there are some squares in the design already, and lining them up always drives me a little bit mad, or at least attempting to does. It's very frustrating because the goblins in my head are just loud enough to be, but they're not entirely aligned. And the rest of the parts of my... No, thank you. Which is why it's also good when you can, if you support the clever Patreon people, because they can often provide gridded versions of things. Oh, that's so annoying. It's like 3 pixels off lining up. Just there. Oof. And sometimes it's a question of... yeah, it's just a little bit too big. And of course, what is aligned on the image, on the original image, isn't what's going to be aligned on my image. And it's just far enough off that it's going to drive me to frustration. What I could potentially try and do is open with paint and cut off this one little bit here and see if that is enough. So go back into these here, get rid of that, yes. Get rid of that. Still in the map. Draggeth and droppeth. Wait for it to load. Pop it there. Drag and drop. Not drag and drop, but like that's closer. It's not quite big enough that everyone can fit around the meal table, and that is an important thing for me. I'd rather have it a little bit fuzzed out than, unrealistically sized. It does make the corridors relatively large, but so be it. Make it wider, make it taller, save a change or two, zoom out, go away. Okay, that's looking a bit better. Zoom in on that. Yep. Look at that. And each chair is basically in a square. So that's kind of what I wanted. Again, it's a little fuzzy. But what you're going to do, this is also very definitely made for what looks to be a purely sci-fi game, whereas this is a sci-fi, the one we're doing is going to be a sci-fi game, which will still have elements of magic in it. But that's not the end of the world. Now, the other thing that I want to do, if I go here to dynamic lighting, I want to set up some sight lines. So I will take Let's do green to be walls. And start setting up some, actually, let's take that back. Start setting up some sight lines. So what I'm doing here is, unsurprisingly, where are we? Nope. Cool. So you click on that, Let's try and give that a little bit of a curve. Now the reason I'm clicking just on the outside is ideally, you'll see when I do the thing, that if I don't do it on the outside, when people can see, it's a little, the alignment of those things is annoying. Yeah, it can be a bit tricky. I should probably zoom in on that, and that's a little bit rough. So again, I'm drawing these lines. That will obscure what characters can and can't see, and will also, let's do some doors. And the reason why I'm marking them as doors is that, I mean, you know, there's nothing on the other side of these necessarily. But if this was a map where doors were a thing, like could have an impact on the game, then I'd want to know what to remove to then let people see through. Okay, and this again also, a lot of this is just time consuming. I'm just showing the general kinds of things that I can do. I'm going to have to go now and deal with the papa. I will be right back. Excuse me for one moment. Hello, Purdy. I'm back. There's a non-zero chance I'll have to deal with the dog again in a second when she decides she wants to be on the other side of that door that I've just put her on. Yes, already, like seconds. There we go. Papa dealt with. Papa has made Papa's self comfortable. So now I shall make more walls with the green. Indeed. So this is very rough. But I have also relatively recently worked out how to close off, oof, goodness, areas. Now, why am I doing that, I hear you ask? Because let's go back to objects and tokens and let's pick, stop drawing. Let us copy and paste our droid into this place. So there they are. On here, let us activate dynamic lighting. Yes! We'll turn Explorer mode on because I don't mind that. Okay, save settings. Now you've seen it's gone a bit grey. If I rejoin as player, you will see what the players can see, which is... Oi, what are you doing? What happened? Oh, you won't see what the players, because I need to make sure we're on the right map. So the players are now on that one. Right. So I'm rejoining as a player. Okay, not being able to even see themselves is a little bit of a problem. So, it's very, very dark. We can see this. But if I want to make it not dark, then I can... Oh, look, they can have a 5-foot circle aura. Save. Cancel. Okay, so now I need to go back as a GM. It's a little frustrating they can't see themselves, but okay, yeah. We don't want that aura. 0. Right. What we want to do is go into dynamic lighting. Let's just say that they emit bright light out to 5 feet. And the total light is 5 feet out. Save settings. Also, I didn't... Oh no, I did put them where they were. Right, let's try that again. Just to demonstrate the wonderful dynamic lighting that Roll20 does. Don't make a layer out of me. Let's hope I actually set it up properly. You're being silly, aren't you? So this is almost certainly an ID10T issue. We're pebcacking all over the joint. Because I've made the character emit light. Did I save the changes? Did I save the changes? No aura. Dynamic lighting is on... Oh, vision. I need them to be able to see things. Otherwise, they can't see things. So that is absolutely a pebcac issue. If you don't set vision, they can't see anything. And that kind of makes sense. There we go. And so you can see this little 5-foot square of light walking around, revealing things. Very computer gamey. Now, ordinarily, I would not want them to be able to walk through doors, so I shall have to adjust that in the settings, because I don't want them to do that. There we go. Very cool. Right. Rejoin as GM. reset the lighting, which I think I can do in here. Going. Right. Special effects, no. Dynamic lighting. Reset permanent darkness. Reset fog. No. Or I can just turn it off and on again. Turn it off and on again. Explore mode off. Dynamic lighting off. Save settings. Then dynamic lighting on. Save settings. There we go. Oh yes, it lets you do special effects, which is really cool. For example, fire, which can be a lot of fun. There's a beam, there's a breath weapon. It's lots of fun. Roll20 is handy. It lets you ping things, so you just hold a button down. That's kind of cute. So what I'm going to do is dot points. Let's put that on a new page. Let's put that on a new page, and let's call it the train. Ah, yeah. What am I doing? Oi, rude. Train heist. Okay, so the client, which incidentally, where's my link? Because I'm being particularly fussy in here and I'm creating, place in this document, the client. Boom. Client has called the players to the planet name. Yes, oh, incidentally, I will absolutely need to work out the AC and hit points for the rail cars because people will absolutely try and smash through the bits because that's how they do. A train is moving between. Hey, Mew Mew E, Mew Mew V. Apologize if you're here seeking ice cream spiders. I thought I had updated my thing because I was doing ice cream spiders, or creaming soda spiders through the week. I'm actually doing D&D plan. Got any tips? Big tip for getting into DMing, I think, would be talk to the players so everybody's on the same page. Make sure that everyone's happy with the style of game that you want to do. Like, have a session 0. Be willing to get it wrong. I've made many mistakes as a DM, and I'm sure we'll make many, many more. So, there's more names. I hate coming up with names. I really do. Random name generators are your friend. On it is a... Is MacGuffin or McGuffin? Guffin. You will steal the MacGuffin. You don't necessarily need to do what I'm doing here with the dot points. Some people do. Some people write way more than this. Hang on a second. Let's see if I can find another adventure that I did. Role-playing. IRL. Where's Shiny New Spaceship? Okay. So here's another one that I did. I usually spell it MacGuffin. Cool. I'm glad to do that. To be honest, the MacGuffin didn't seem to be... didn't really do it for me. Oh, MacGuffin. So this is another one that I've done ooh, I have a Prezi for the universe that I built for something else, which is fun. So looking at the background here and some various plot hooks. And so what I've done with this one is I've broken the settings down into sort of scene settings. Here's some various things. I've got links to other parts in the document, as I like to do. Encounters, scene settings, locations. I've gone right down to the bottom there. I've got another thing I use is Goblin Fight Club, which is a really good encounter builder. I would welcome anyone who can send me a link to a really good random loot generator, because I haven't found a decent random loot generator. It's either way the hell too much or just not enough, and I find that a little bit frustrating. So yeah, so I've got a different thing, all different links. I haven't gone all internal linking here. You can has link to Goblin Fight Club. Hang on one moment. Boop. And I can even show it to you. Cobalt Fight Club. There you go. Have a link. So what have we got here? So you put in number of players. There's going to be 5 of them. They're going to be level 3. And then you can manage your content. Close. Or set my sources even. So let's say, so I've got this looking in everything, but I could set it so it's just the ones that I own, depending on how comfortable I am just Googling stat blocks as opposed to using stuff that I've paid for. Your mileage may vary. I have a fair stack of books and will continue to expand my book collection. One thing I've done is I've gone into D&D Beyond and bought a lot of the extra character classes and the extra races because I really enjoy them, and I think they're moving away from the use of the word race, which I really like. I can't remember what they're going to call it now. Yeah, and so you say, look, let's reset all the filters. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So let's say that we want to give them a bunch of evil people in a dungeon. We want them to be medium. We don't care what they are. Species, I think, is what they're going to go with, Purdy. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then we look at here and we say, okay, let's look at these colors. It's pretty, it's relatively self-explanatory, although again, I realize if you're colorblind, it's not relatively self-explanatory, but we have a challenge rating and we can set the challenge rating. Oh, look, I ordered it by challenge rating. Maybe have them be important to the story in some way, have them be more of an NPC in role. Oh, I'm sorry. I've kind of semi-wanted to run a DNPC. Is there any way I can have them be with like the party but not really outshine the others? Yeah, having an NPC, a recurring NPC, or even like an escort mission, that would be a really good way if you've put in anything that's particularly like tricky puzzles and things and you want to give them little clues, then that character could potentially help out without necessarily being a fix-it button. Humanoid Grimlock? It can't be. I'm sorry, I've just distracted myself. A Grimlock is a humanoid, neutral evil, with a spiked bone club. Images. What does a Grimlock look like? Oh, there we go. So it's a trolley looking thingy. Yeah, so that might be a way of doing it. Having the DMPC in there, because it also depends on how big the party is as well. If you want to have a party of 3 or 4 people and you've only got a couple of people playing, then they're basically an avatar of a deity. Then I guess working out what's going to make them pop off to potentially reveal that fact, depending on what's happening in the adventure. Again, making sure that everyone who's involved is down with having a DMPC. that could work. But certainly, yeah, having a living MacGuffin. Could I possibly maybe make them hang back? Well, if you make them a total pacifist, then, and again, if you frame it as an escort mission, depending on whether the players particularly enjoy that. So let's say the minimum challenge rating is so we're building this fake thing. So we add Abyssal Eviscerator. Sounds unpleasant, but we add one of those, and it tells you that only one of them with 5 level 3 characters is easy. What happens if you add 4 of them? Deadly. So 1 is easy, 2 is deadly. So they've clearly, I mean, I don't know Abyssal Eviscerators from Adam, but and a Banshee. We have a medium difficulty. 2 of them is a deadly difficulty. So again, we're starting to see, and this is all a guide, but I've certainly used it to my advantage to quickly put together stuff. Looking at my links, actually, what have I got up here? I've got Roll20, which is where I'm at. D&D Beyond, which we've seen. We've got Drew's Guide to Henchmen and Hirelings. D&D Heist. I just googled D&D Heist, and so this has got some really good ideas. And this is a series of one-page role-playing games. Gnome Generator. This is the I Loot The, which is a bunch of loot things. What do you get when you loot a bugbear, for instance? Yeah. Another one, what was what I wanted to show? The Scriptalizer has been fun. I've used that a couple of times. So this is where the text goes. ... Boop. And then it looks like running. Is there any way I can manage space in combat without VTT? Theatre of the mind, but then you need to... It's weighing up flow and... what's the word I'm looking for? Geography. So just making the geography of the space as clear as possible. So that will help, I think. I've done both. With even running it on the VTT, I've done some theatre of the mind combat. But we've also in person done theatre of the mind combat, and also in person used a big LCD running Roll20 as like flat on the table, which has been kind of cool. But just, I guess, making sure that any of the sort of discrepancies or variations that come out of theatre of the mind, making sure that they're being applied fairly. So if you're doing, plus or minus a couple of feet, yeah, okay, you're close enough. Although, sorry, the baddie is close enough to hit you, and then being like, well, no, because you specifically said to the players, that could come across as a bit uncool. But, that said, what have I done? Yeah, I think that'd be the way to go about it. Is again, and if have you any way of sharing images? So usually it's just a better idea. I think it's got to be your mileage may vary, because with the grids it can end up almost being like Warhammer 40k by proxy. Certainly if you've got lots of people involved, lots of baddies, then the grid can help you get that clear in your brain. But if you've got other ways of sharing images, one thing you could potentially do, and I'll go back to my D&D bits here. Let's just show. Give me what I'm looking at. So, for instance, let's make that big. There you go. You could present that as an image, like send it to people if you're doing anything online, or if you're in person, show them that image on a computer screen. And then when people are talking about, well, I want to do this, I want to do that, they can use that as a guide, that image. That'd be a way to get around it. The other thing as well is that for the very longest time in these virtual tabletops here, set the stage and for them to work within. Exactly, Purdy. I never used. I'll go to one of my more well set up campaigns. I never used the dynamic lighting. I primarily, when I started, was just using it as an image dump. So here's what you see, here's who you see. And so that's been, largely where that's kind of my use of Roll20 has evolved, because I've become more aware of things. So here's, I tell them that they're approaching a tower. Give them, be right back. Okay, movie. I will be here for another 15. But you can see here, like this one's got loads going on. And here's the Wizard's Tower that my other group are about to go into. And so I've got these floors here. And I've created, and here we see all the other tokens as well. We have a Splody Mage. And so the magic user is very much one of those, I didn't ask how big the room was, I said I cast Fireball kind of people. And so to the extent where one of my tokens, as you can see, is a template for when they cast Fireball to determine the range. So it's 20-foot radius. I've got to stop doing that. Okay. Radius, 20 feet. Save the settings. Like, it's still pretty huge. What are you? 40-foot radius, yeah. So Sleet Storm needs to change as well. Save settings. Okay. But you can see here what I was saying before about the different size. Sounds like a Goblin Mage I played once. Yeah, just whee, and you get a fireball, and you get a fireball. Where we have larger creatures take up more squares. Fire Elemental. I don't think that's even enough squares for a Fire Elemental. 10 by 10 by 15. No, that's right. Which brings me naturally to the story from our last session, where Latrix, who is our druid, a lizard person druid, Stefan, our Splody Mage, had summoned a fire elemental to assist in combat, because that's how Stefan rolls. Stefan then saw that our horses had bolted at the end of combat and went after them on his horse, which I determined to break the concentration/connection to fire elemental. Gave them wisdom save just to double check. So a rogue fire elemental was coming down on Latrix and Pissoir, both of whom were not in a very good place health-wise. Latrix cast Tidal Wave, which creates a... Let's look at it, shall we? So Tidal Wave is a spell that creates a 30-foot long, 10-foot wide, and 10-foot tall, hey, Mew V, wall of water, a tidal wave. A fire elemental in their stat block. Let's see if I can get to the stat block from D&D Beyond. I think it's in something. I've unlocked it. So a fire elemental, there's a little thing here. Where is it? Water susceptibility. For every gallon of water splashed on it, it takes 1 cold damage. Fire elementals occupy a 10 by 10 by... I actually worked it out as 10 by 10 by 15, but 10 by 10 by 10 volume of a rectangular prism. Gallons. So 10 by 10 by 10. Tank volume. Calculator shop. That's the one. 10 by 10 by 10. Fill depth is 10 feet. Calculate. So I actually made it 10 by 10 by 15. Slightly over thing. But 7,500 gallons. Which meant that Old Mate Fire Elemental took 7,000 damage. Old Mate Fire Elemental has 102 hit points. So it was a pretty resounding taking out of. So yeah, so here's all the tokens that I have for this other adventure. I don't know what the Trix is doing down there because the Trix is up there. A couple of other things, a little hint at some of the stuff that they've encountered and some of the stuff they're going to encounter. There's that red dragon. They're also in a spaceship. I have a problem with wanting to mash up genres all the time. And then we've got a few little places that they've been, things that they're going to go to. It is overkill for overkill. It is absolutely crazy. And it's one of those things where they didn't try and blag it, but, you know, using the rules as written, it says 1 point per gallon. Like, well, 10 by 10 by 10. It was very funny. Oh, goody. I believe we have another rat in our kitchen. That's very vexing. Very side note, I'm building a character and have been allowed to choose a magic item to be read by a DM. My character is an NB pirate. Cool. Really want to have a tentacle prosthetic leg. Oh, cool. Any ideas of epic monsters they might have taken a tentacle off the course of combat? First of all, that's a freaking awesome idea. What's got tentacles? Monsters with tentacles. D&D 5e. It would be a sea creature, wouldn't it? Oh, maybe not that one. That's not nice. Okay. D&D 5e. Let's limit ourselves to 5e. Aquatic creatures. Aboleth, Bullywog, Eel, Eye of the Deep. I mean, a giant squid just seems to be... Ooh, chula. Oh, goodness. No, that's... Chitinous, not... Chitinous? Chitinous? I would say chitinous, but I'm hearing chitin a lot when people are using the words. True. Hang on a moment. There we go. So, terrain is coast, aquatic. Boom, boom, boom. Baby Kraken. Do 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 do. Baby Kraken. Do 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 do. Baby Kraken. A Kraken hatchling. A mere 230 hit points. That's kind of cool. So that's from a monster a day. Looks like an Imgur from Stone Strix. Tentacle. And it talks to you about the tentacle. So it even offers some stats. And it'll be a smaller version of that you've adjusted to use. So if the DM lets you have it, MewMewV, any other DM tips? I guess stuff like that. Have it talk to people if they have suggestions. Yes, and when you can, but don't be afraid to no but. That's a big one. What I'll do also sometimes, because something I do as well is, do I have any? There we go. I do a live thing, which is called Roll for Intelligence, and it's D&D. It's D&D light. It's role playing light. D20 roll for everything. 3 balloons for lives. It's largely just an excuse to be silly on stage. And it's a lot of fun. When I'm doing that, here's what I do. Where I absolutely have another rat. Goodness me. I have dot points for what I want to do, and then I just let them get there how they're going to get there as players. So here's roughly what I do. And again, you can see I have these headings here. Here's a setting. Go with it. Here's a character. Look at that. Here's a character. How are we going to look at the character? Story beats. These are things that you can use to do various stuff. So this was kind of a not quite, I think it was like a not quite Die Hard thing. Yeah, so having an idea of what you want to do, but not necessarily being so tied into it that if the players do something that isn't on a list that you've already worked out, it can throw you off. Oh, rude words. So looking at it, the metaphor I use, and I probably should try and find a better one, is like a Judd Apatow movie. Like a lot of the improv stuff in Judd Apatow, they're like, here are the characters. We want to hit these beats in the scene, and this is where the scene's got to end. Go and do your thing. And so that's not a bad position to be in. So when it comes to the show, for instance, it's very much time boxed. So we're going to do the things that I think we need to do in a narrative context. We're just going to do them. But making them happen based on what the players do and say and how the roles go, that's where the fun comes in, and that's where the role playing and the changeability can come in. So I was able to, by knowing that I needed to finish the game at a certain point, that I wanted to finish with the success, by knowing who was involved, and by what they had done throughout the night, I was able to set up essentially a predestination paradox with some time travel that made me look very, very clever, but I absolutely made it all up on the spot and just ran with it. And so that's possibly a bit too, and also it's a question of how many sessions you're going to do. So if it's a one shot, you're going to probably try and steer them a little bit more into doing specific things, or at least not let them wander off too much. But if you're running a campaign and there's no time limit to it, then by all means, if they get distracted to wander off, then you can do that. One thing that is cool, if you haven't already watched them, there's the crap guides to Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, hello! There's a trailer for Andor. That's very exciting. Oh no, a month ago. Already seen that. Crap guide to D&D. And there's a Dungeon Master video from the crap guide to Dungeons and Dragons. I don't want to start that per se, but I want to copy the link. And the funny thing with this video, apart from it being a good breakdown of how you can do things, is there's a lot of cameos from a lot of other people that do D&D content, including there's a cameo from Matt Mercer of Critical Role fame and a bunch of other people. So that's getting close to pumpkin time for me. So I've just done a few little dealies with, look, and Roll for Intelligence. There's our amazing art that our friend Azza did for us, that we commissioned and we paid for. And I'm very happy to have been able to do that a couple of times in the last year or so. Another one was I was actually paid to do some dungeon mastering towards the end of last year for a friend, for a team building exercise. Like, they were having a team day at the end of the year, and so I commissioned my friend to do character portraits. So I got the headshots of the various staff members who were taking part in the game, and then got their character sheets, and then I sort of sent that to Aaron. I was like, can you do a mashup of those? And that was really cool. And I'll show an example of one of those because they're just too damn good. Where are they? D&D. Yes, no? Where are we? Come on, Ewan. Avatars. There we go. So we had, for instance, this one. So one of the gentlemen was a Warforged, which are basically, think Robocop, but made of wood and magic. So this is a mix of his face and the character. And another awesome one, which is the Turtle, which I just loved. Like, I love the eyes. It's like, oh, please. So perfect. Super fun. Cool. Well, I think, I hope MewMewV, if you're still there, that I was able to be of at least a little bit of help. She Doubles and MewMewV, welcome to the channel as well. I didn't welcome you to the channel. I'm very sorry. I don't know if I know you in the meat space, but I don't recognize the names. And so, hi, and thank you for joining in and doing the thing. The main thing for me is I know you in real life. Excellent. Still here. Oh, hey, Money. That's super cool. We've done theatre things. Thank you. Well, we have done theatre things, and I will accept that second part as a lovely thing to say. Yeah, I may do this more in the future. I've got a few other things that I do, like I do Pew Pew games and I do Jackbox games. I haven't done Jackbox games for a while, and I think I owe some of my friends who like Jackbox games, so that'll probably be next Sunday. But I think I might do some more of these once I've got the infrastructure built a bit more for the adventure, and we can look at doing, a bit more planning stuff, talking about, fleshing out, say, my planning documents a bit more. My big thing, going back to MewMewV, is if you're starting out as a DM, is the Googles are your friend, YouTube is your friend, and clear communications and expectations. So I have done many moons ago. I haven't done it for a very long time, but I have roleplayed where the person running it wanted to do a very dark and thinky kind of thing, and that's not really how I roll. And I'm not going to yuck anyone's yum. I think if you want to do a really dark and thinky adventure in whatever system you want to do that in, that's really cool. It's not a skill set I have, I think, as a player or as a GM. I've done scary things and I've done darker things, and I've nuked a town. I had a dragon completely destroy a town after I'd deliberately spent 2 years getting the players attached to that town. That was always going to happen, to see if I could. But again, before I did that, with about a year's lead time, I checked in if people were okay for me to do that sort of emotional thing. I don't go in for gratuitous. I don't Game of Thrones things. I don't go in for sexual violence and that kind of stuff. And that's all part of that session 0 of making sure that everybody knows what is everyone expecting from the adventure. What is everyone wanting to get out of it? If there's any no-go topics. One of the games I was playing was violence towards animals was a no-go. And obviously if there's a big monster that's attacking and you're defending, that's a different thing too. And now you have to kill 20 puppies to get their skins or whatever, which is, unpleasant. And checking in as well. So making sure that everyone's, always in that same sort of, how are we doing? Is everyone happy? And yeah, I mean, with a lot of things, like a lot of things in life, communication is key. Is making sure that everyone is getting what they want out of something, Yeah, and if you can't yes and, try for a no but. So if they say I'm going to do this, it's like or I want to take this feat with my character, and you can't really think of a way that it would be logical. Offer a suggestion. And don't be afraid to make it up as you go along, because that's what I do a lot of the time. And now I think it is time for me to sign off. Bid you all a fond good evening, and hope you have an awesome week, or at the very least a manageable week, or at the very least a week where if it's not manageable, you can sit on a couch for a night or a day and be kind to yourself, be nice to other people. And it now comes time for my sign-off tradition of the thumb of awesomeness.